Hello class, and welcome to week 2's Prezi presentation. So far you're making it through week 1 fairly well. We've got the introductions in the student lounge filling up. I do have a few people who still have not done that, and the instructions did say do it by Wednesday. So please get on that. There will be a little bit of leniency in this first week as you're getting used to things, but as some of y'all know that, or have experienced so far, I'm very focused on how crammed this course is, and I don't want anybody getting behind, and I don't want anybody making any excuses in the back of their mind about why to put anything off. So if you've been one of those who I've spoken sternly with, please know that it's not any lack of love. It's a pressure for time and priority. And just work hard, do well, make every effort to do well, and I think you'll be all right. So the introduction in Student Lounge, some of y'all get on that. Email, I've gotten just about half of the classes emailed saying they viewed the message on the course wall. The course wall is on the front page of Engage as you log in at the top. And it is something that you can post a question to the class. You can, if there's something that you want everybody to see or everybody have a chance to answer, or if Engage is notorious for mixing something up, if something seems confusing, shout it out there. Not only will your other classmates be able to answer, but I'll also see it and be able to promptly address the issue as well. The announcements, I've sent out the first announcement, and hopefully you've been able to see that not only on the course, but I think a lot of y'all get it in your email as well. So far you've read the book of Mark, which is the shortest and perhaps most like modern writing that we will come across. Mark wrote, the author of Mark wrote the gospel in, it can almost be played out as a one-act play. Matthew is quite different. Although Mark is telling the story, Matthew is telling the story, but he's telling it to a unique audience. It's a primarily Jewish background audience, and I don't know if you know it, but there were 5 other people around the time of Jesus who also claimed to be the Messiah. Now, not coincidentally, all 5 of those led violent rebellions against the Roman army, and as you can imagine, it's not a David and Goliath, it's a gnat versus an elephant. And each one of those was squashed out pretty easily, died violent deaths. Jesus was different, and the audience of Matthew did have an ear to why Jesus was different. They may have been there firsthand, or their parents may have been there. Or they may have seen the beginnings of the works of the apostles. So not only are they asking who is Jesus, and Matthew's also trying to answer why Jesus is the one that they were waiting for, in accordance to the Jewish traditions. You'll see a lot of reference to prophecies. If you've studied the Old Testament at all, you may see a lot of allegory and a lot of pointing backwards toward the Old Testament as evidence within the tradition of why Jesus is the Messiah. Even John the Baptist, when he's in jail, when his circumstance changes, he asks the messengers to go ask Jesus, is he the one or should he still wait? Even Peter, who says, Jesus, you are the one, will later have questions. So, by evidence, it is okay as Christians to question, to say who is Jesus, and to say, is this real? And hopefully, through the studies of the Gospels and the letters, you come to your own conclusions and you deepen your own faith. The answer to what is the kingdom? The Jews at the time expected the new king to come in and overthrow the Roman authority and reinstitute the King David version of the kingdom of Israel. Jesus was proclaiming it was a little bit different, and he used parables, and he used stories, and he used examples to tell what the kingdom was. So ask that question as you read. Try to figure out, what is that kingdom? What is the kingdom of heaven that he's talking about? Is it the afterlife? Is it something here on earth? Is it a physical place? We'll have part of that as the discussions as we go. Also, I want to remind you that Jesus was a Jew, and Matthew, the author of Matthew, embraces this. And there's a modern view that Jesus was there to overthrow and negate Judaism, but he was not. The emphasis in the book of Matthew is that the disciples are to go to the Jews first. Jesus spends his ministry with the Jews first. And you do see some of the outsiders' involvement, but not quite as much as the book of Mark. Judaism was not to be rejected. This audience who was hearing and reading this gospel, they needed to hear that their whole lives and their whole generations were not in vain. But Jesus is working within their religion, within their circumstance, to break the pattern of them worshiping the religion and worship the God that the religion was instituted to point towards God. So, I know that's an earful, but a lot to keep in mind, and, happy readings. Email me with questions, concerns, thoughts. Just remember, if you're asking for extensions or anything like that, the answer is probably no. Let me know though anyway, at least if you have a difficult circumstance, so I can keep that in mind. I will hold each of you to the highest of expectations. It's difficult being in an online class and keeping everyone taking it as serious sometimes as in the classroom or on the university campus. So please know that this is a full course jammed into 8 weeks, and keep with it, bear with me, and I'll bear with you, and give me your best. I look forward to it.